was a noise from somewhere deep. We heard the sound, it was bittersweet. Voices calling out from an aching heart, getting so much closer by staying apart, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. Love is the word, and hope is the song. The streets are empty, but the sky is clear. You want somebody and can't have them near. Taking shelter where you can when the world is at stake. Alone together, trying hard not to break, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. Love is the word, and hope is the song. A song for the lonely, the tired and the weary. A song for the broken, the mighty. Can you hear me? Get beyond our pride and greed. Share everything that we need. We won't be ignored. We will be restored. Singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. 'Cause love is the word, and hope is the song.
Good morning, South Florida, and welcome to the breakfast at the Brooklyn Cafe TV.
Take a deep breath and a good whiff of that coffee brewing. Grab yourself some toast, a donut, or any breakfast. As Dawn and Freddie get you up and ready for the rest of your day.
So I grabbed myself and called 888-994-4995 to share a tip of the day.
Or just to say good morning.
So get ready for the time of your life.
Shake off your sleepies, buckle up, cause it's showtime!
Welcome to the morning show, the breakfast, what else can I call it? The Brew Crew. You see all those hashtags? Morning show hash.
I was impressed.
I was too.
Nice
I
job on that.
don't know how the hell I did that.
Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday,
Tuesday to you, Slick.
Happy Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's,
Mr. Grumpy.
he's got to remember to turn my mic on.
Yeah.
And get rocking and rolling. Am I on?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah.
Good morning to you. We are in
Are you on?
Studio A, getting all situated and all set up. He's like, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Big day coming up. Big.
Big. Listen,
in the mail
I gotta.
and the
I
fish is
wanna.
underway.
I wanna start by saying that yesterday I tried to do something a little bit different for our listening audience. I try to play some of the songs that we have in house. You know, from Aline and from Kendra and from Slickness here with the stimulus deal.
And you got in trouble.
And I got in trouble with Aline, but it doesn't give me an opportunity to explain that she's giving us permission and she owns it and she's not signed. So I have no idea of who in the world would slap that silent. Makes no difference. I mean, it makes no
Did you
difference.
talk to her about it? And see?
She's very confused. She's very upset, and she's writing to Facebook, who is faceless. Do you know Facebook is faceless?
That's fine. I was just thinking about that when you said that. That's good, but I'm bummed.
But we're gonna keep trying. You know, we got a lot of in-house artists. Nicole, we did Tennessee Whiskey, which is a cover, and we told the world we're not selling it. We just wanted people to hear the voice. And she actually is laying a track on us tomorrow, right?
We got a lot of music coming in.
Music is
Listen, we're
coming.
Setting up that booth. I hope you're actually Vinny will be here with you tomorrow to fix that, to help you set that.
I gotta help
situation
him
up.
set it up because
Set the situation.
it's too much for him. And he looks like Popeye carrying a building.
I carried it, remember?
Oh, you took out like half
I
the
took
studio.
out the TV, I took out the speaker, but I can do it.
You can do it, Batman. You can do
Lindsay
it.
Lumber?
Yes.
Remember the commercial? You can do it with
You
Lindsay's
can do
house?
it,
You
yes.
can do it with Lindsay's. I was going to say, was Lindsay Lumber a national company? I guess it was.
It was something.
Then it's like, where's the beef? You
Now-
can do it with Lindsay's help, yes.
I want to also say that you sparked a very strong controversy yesterday.
I did?
Yes, you did.
And what?
Remember the comment you told us that people over the weekend were saying I'm too small to go on the air and talk about my
yes.
business? Well, yesterday, 5 companies came forward and are joining our Comcast program
Nice.
because they heard the show and they're very upset at you.
Why?
I don't know. I just told them, listen, and prove it wrong. Because these companies, they were under the impression that too small to be on television.
Why are they upset with me? We're exactly the opposite.
Because we
We're
called them
trying-
out,
Well,
and I blamed you.
thank you. We're trying to give people the opportunity to say, instead of having to purchase a full package from Comcast, we're giving you the opportunity to purchase a fraction and still get your business out there at a fraction of the price, just like Bitcoin.
It's true, but it's about philosophies. There was a gentleman that I was talking to last night, and I played the show because he hadn't watched it, and he heard us talk about the morning show about being afraid because you're too small. And he says to me, he says, you know, I've been in business 10 years, and I've never had to advertise. So I said, congratulations, that's fantastic. How's
Yeah.
the business doing? It closed.
Really? Wow.
I said, why? Well, you know, it's COVID. I said, okay, but there are not other things your business can do. It's a network deal. He says, yeah, but how do I go about getting... In other words, the conversation turned into how. How do I? Not about I'm too small to advertise. So as he was talking to me at the radio station, this happened. Somebody came in and says, do you have a card? I could use your services. And he says, you see, I don't have to advertise. He says, if you weren't here, the guy tells him, if you weren't here having this conversation with him, I wouldn't know what you did. I would have walked away. So he's right. Lou was the one. I said, let me get that card. And I looked at the guy and I said, you got to put your name out there no matter how small you think you are and let it happen where it happens. You know, this guy is a good example
Yeah.
of what we've been talking about when he pays attention and when he's on his phone. Everybody knows Slick. He has like
Or they call you Spike. They call you all kinds of things.
he has like a following. I'm still trying to figure out why.
Because he's so nice. He never says no.
What's he nice? What do you
He's
mean
like, I
nice?
could do that. He's always got a smile on his face, a laugh. He always goes back, banters back and forth with
Well,
you.
he
He's
has
a great
all of you
side
guys
guy for you.
fooled.
No.
Because he's Mr. Positivity. I am positively. He's not Mr. Positively. I say to him, Slick, what's the matter? Nothing. What's going on?
He's
Nothing.
good. We got to get Slick a mic.
And so he was upset yesterday because his brother got the shot. Didn't tell him. Like his brother has to tell him everything. You're not gonna tell you nothing.
What are you talking about?
Were you upset yesterday?
Orlando? What?
Were you upset?
I wasn't upset at him. I was just like, he's
You-
up in Orlando. I didn't even know he took the vaccine yet. I thought it was only for people of my mother's age to take the vaccine.
Yeah,
Well-
they're opening it up in
Well, so there's been a new development. In Texas, they're doing it all over the country, but Texas is the #1 volunteer state for children under the age of 17 are taking either a placebo or
Now
a
they're
vaccine.
doing birth 6 months to 12.
6 months to 12, man, that is tremendous. So they had that 15-year-old. It was her birthday, and she went in to get a shot. Now, she doesn't know if she has the shot or if she's getting a placebo. And the doctors, her parents are 2 doctors, well-known physicians, and they're hoping that she runs a fever or she has body aches because they know she got the shot. See, the object of the game in the doctor's mind is I want to get my kid vaccinated, right? So there was a switch.
Would you have your kids
Yes.
be in the trial?
Yes.
You would.
I would.
Really?
I would.
I would not. Of course,
I'm
because
gonna-
you would.
I would, because you know something, Dawn, the only way we're going to get this thing right is by facing it.
So I saw what you were talking about yesterday, that AstraZeneca is
Yes.
the company that their vaccine in Europe has been stopped. So we don't have that vaccine here yet. I mean, we probably have it, but we're not
They
using
are
it.
asking for approval in April.
Well,
It's coming out in April. But let me tell you a fact. The information coming out of Europe is incorrect.
really?
There are just as many blood clot cases here in the U.S. as there are in AstraZeneca in Europe. As many. Equal number. And it has to do with the system of the body and this virus. This virus is deadly because it isn't like the flu where you get sick. This virus cripples, if that's even a word, your internal organs. So there was this woman that died in Utah. Being factual here, you can look it up. She died after taking the shot 4 days later. And they discovered in the autopsy that she had a bad liver that needed replacement. And they missed it. They didn't know about it. And this thing ruptured. See, one of the things I'm afraid of is because there are certain things in my body I know about that happen. And I'm afraid it's going to pump it out there into the I am stronger than, and I'm going to take over. Like cancer patients. What do you do with a cancer patient? Do you give them the shot? Leukemia?
I don't know what protocols are. I don't, and nor do I pretend to be a doctor or play one on TV. I just do not know.
I would like to have somebody who knows the research call in, be on the show, give us some data as far as they know. Doesn't have to be factual one way or the other. You could look up and make up your own mind, but I would like to know what's happening in the cancer field with the virus and the shot and the whole 9 yards.
There's a lot of different things going on. So, is your mom working, Slick?
Yeah, she is. She actually is getting dental work right now. So,
Did she get vaccinated?
she hasn't got vaccinated yet. That's the funny thing. My brother got
She's a
vaccinated.
nurse.
Yeah, but she didn't. No, she didn't yet.
She turned it down, or she hasn't been asked?
She, what is it? Either every time I ask her, she's turning it down. My
Is she-
aunt has got vaccinated.
She's turning it down too?
Yeah, my aunt got vaccinated, but my mom, every time I ask her, she's turning it down.
Wow.
I have heard, that's why I ask you, because I've heard a lot of the nurses in some of the long-term care facilities, just like your mom, are saying they don't want it.
And do you know why? You don't trust it?
They're, different reasons. Different reasons. It's just like we talked about getting the information out into the Hispanic community. I'm thinking, you said it was already, the information's out in the Haitian community. I think different information's getting out to different groups of people differently.
But his mother's a nurse.
But his mother's also Haitian.
Correct.
But his mother's a nurse at a facility.
True.
The facility's got to have the right information. Or no?
But it's just, what is it from the information that she said she's been hearing? She just doesn't want to take it.
Okay. I mean, I respect that. But this is choice, not lack of info.
Right.
Lack of info, no
It's
choice.
not lack,
is
it's
the problem.
different. And she talks to her friends, just like you and I talk to our friends. But then when I go out with people in the medical community, different doctors and people over 65, they're all like, yes, 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 I want it. So
Well,
it's,
Chuck took it.
Linda took it.
And do you see any behavior change?
No.
Linda actually turned into the Energizer Bunny for the first 2 weeks that she had
Well,
it.
Chuck doesn't stop talking anyway, so I couldn't tell you.
But this is the side effect. Too much agenda. Too much energy is the how you
Good
feeling?
morning.
You
How
look
are
like
you?
you saw Casper the Friendly Ghost.
No.
Look at her eyes.
Is your dog
Yeah,
okay?
Who won?
How many dogs you have?
Her bags.
What
are
time were you up
having
with the dog
bags.
this morning?
You had to deal with the dog?
That was my dream.
What's wrong with the dog?
He got sick at 5:30 this morning, and then he was choking, couldn't breathe.
Oh my goodness.
But I got my mom home, so she's gonna take him to the vet.
What do you think is wrong?
He's old. They're all old.
Oh.
I don't know.
How old is he?
He is 8, we think.
What kind of dog?
So
20 questions.
yeah.
Little or big?
Did you take the shot?
He's my littlest one.
Did you take the shot? Asking 100 freaky
No, because I had a dream at 5:30 this morning that there was a dog on my feet.
Yeah.
There was a dog on my feet, so much so that the bed moved. And it woke me up, and I'm thinking, is Cookie in the house? And Deanna? And there's no one in my house. That's why I asked her 20 questions. Was the dog at your feet?
No.
Okay, good.
He
He was at my feet instead.
He was at the bottom of the bed, like to the side of
Do you sleep with your dog?
Yeah, I sleep with all of them. But yeah, Michael was over last night, and he was like to the side of me on the bed, on the floor, and he got sick at 5:30 this
The
morning.
dog or Michael?
The dog.
Ugh.
So the dog slept on the floor, got sick.
Well, he
It's
doesn't
bad.
sleep on the bed.
He doesn't like sleeping on the
No,
bed.
he doesn't. Him and my other male dog sleep on the floor, and then my girl dog sleeps on the bed with us.
What kind of dogs are these?
They're all mutts.
And Michael has a dog.
Yeah.
So between you guys, there's 4 dogs?
And they all sleep on the bed.
His dog sleeps on the bed, but not different houses.
Wow.
I can never do that.
Sam was telling me a story yesterday that her daughter's trying to get pregnant. And it's been a couple years.
The dog?
And, the girl.
The mutt?
The mother was telling me her daughter's
Girl's
trying to
a
get
mutt?
pregnant. They've been married for 3 years, but the dogs sleep in the bed. So the mom goes, and that's why you can't get pregnant, because you got all the dogs in your bed.
Stop, because my coffee's coming up. I used to lock the door, close the door when I had the bull, Sammy the bull, my bulldog, or whatever the hell it was.
You had a pit bull.
Pit bull. And I noticed that he would sleep outside the door. So I put a nice towel and stuff, so he loved it. And he refused to get into the bed because he's looking for the bed. He's like, where's
We always
the...
had the dogs sleep in our bed.
I never, not in them, not children and not dogs.
If I'm not at Michael's house, that's his dog sleeps outside because him and his parents room are next to each other, so she sleeps between them. And he has a very nice fluffy bed for her, and like all the blankets and toys. When I'm over, I'm like, no, she's in the bed with us. She's like the cuddliest Doberman ever. I love that.
Doberman.
Yeah, she's a Doberman. She's like the Rento litter, so she's a really small Doberman.
I
How
had
big
a,
is she?
She's
60 pounds. No,
yeah, actually, I think she's like 50, 60 pounds.
that's small.
I had a Great Dane Doberman mix. He was a 6-foot Doberman, Dookie. His mouth was this big. It was like a crocodile. Everybody was afraid of this dog. My father got him from a landlord, a super from a basement. The mother was a pure breed Doberman. She was mean. Oof. That dog went nuts when we picked up the puppy.
Wow.
We shipped him to Puerto Rico, and everybody was terrified of poor Dookie. Somebody stole.
Dookie? Someone stole your dog?
Somebody stole.
You still have dogs at your parents' house?
Yes, I have English bulldog Nina, and a shepherd.
So, and they live outside.
Yeah, somebody stole Nina, but she must have gotten away. She bites.
Then
She's-
they decided they didn't want
She
her?
bit my father. Maybe she bit whoever she was. She bit my father. That dog.
And they're still at the house.
Yeah.
So someone's taking care of them, I'm assuming.
I applauded that she bit my father. You never take food away from a dog when it's eating. My father decided he thought he was King Kong. The dog bit him. I says, Dad, leave the dog alone. I want her to bite. So I used to have her chase.
As long as she's
things.
not the presidential dog. 'Cause,
She's-
you know, the presidential dog
He
gets
bit people
pardoned
too.
for biting people.
I used to have her chase things.
It's like, you got a dog?
Oh no, I had one. It was a Rottweiler.
And did it sleep with you in the
Wow.
bed?
Yeah.
Really?
Rotties are really cuddly. I have one of mine.
You
is mostly
slept with a
Rottie.
dog in your bed.
Oh, he's amazing. Bullet? Yeah, he was good.
You
Bullet?
slept with a dog in your bed.
A
really?
Rottweiler. That's a big dog. They're cuddly?
Yeah. If you're their owners, if like, you know, you treat them well, obviously, yeah. I've had a purebred Rottweiler, and then one of mine right now, my biggest one is like part
He op-
Rottweiler.
He opened doors.
Yeah.
So,
They're really smart dogs, and they're really cuddly.
he know where he like.
Had to get this guy a dress.
Why?
You know, I always had small dogs. We had a little poodle, a Pekingese, and then we had a Yorkie who never was housebroken. Then we got our poodle in the house. Chelsea's got little Cookie, and Erin's got the biggest dog that we've ever had, an Australian Shepherd, and she's still only 25 pounds.
Smaller than any of my dogs.
Well, that's right. You saw Indiana.
Yeah, she's so cute.
She's a blue healer versus a red healer. But she's not blue.
Problem with when you start treating dogs like that, the problem is that they get sick and they die, and then you feel heartbroken.
What's
Like
wrong with you? Treat them
I
like
had-
what? Like people?
like people. Nina, my blue-eyed Siberian, I loved her very much.
Wait, you have two Ninas?
My mother called her dog Nina because Nina was it was the only dog we ever had in the family. And I bought her when I was 12.
And then your dad's dog is Nina also?
And then my mother called that dog Nina, yeah. But Nina, the blue eye, slept with my sister in the bed. My sister was terrified. She's in 107 degrees in the Bronx with no AC. She closed the door to the bedroom because she was terrified of Nina. And her and Nina became best of friends. Only dog that slept in a bed was in my sister's bed, and she used to put blankets and pillows. I took pictures. I said, "You're insane."
The Huskies are beautiful. Remember the dogs we saw at the Brain Bowl? They
Yeah.
were beautiful dogs.
There was
Smart.
Samoyan.
Oh my gosh. Imagine what that their bills to get this dog groomed and how hot it must get.
You have to groom her. And then I took him to Puerto Rico, and that was a big mistake. I made a lot of mistakes having it. That's why I don't want any dogs.
And you just collect cats.
I don't want that either.
Cat collector.
You know, I took pictures because the ladies put a story on me. They're gonna kill the cat. And I said, "None of my why." You know what?
That's
You-
what I got most of my pets though. I got a rabbit because my mom's like, "Mom, they're gonna kill the rabbit," because someone was like, "If I can't find a home for it, I'm gonna have to let it to the wild where it'll be eaten." So I got a rabbit. I got a turtle because they were gonna kill the turtle.
Oh my gosh.
Turtles bite,
Yes, they do.
and they bite hard, man.
I got tadpoles. I got quails.
Quails?
Yeah, like the little quail chicks. They're in like a nice sanctuary.
Tadpoles.
Yeah, at my school, they instead of class pets, you had to do ones that like you would watch them grow. So they did tadpoles, they did quails, they did chicks, like chicken chicks. And every time at the end of class, they'd be like, "Okay, they're gonna go to a farm," and I knew what that meant, and I would beg my mom. And
Right.
a lot of pets.
I
Oh
had
my
thousands
gosh.
of tadpoles and frogs in my pool in Puerto Rico. We had to take them out to kill them because you couldn't jump in the pool with frogs.
I had them. They were in a little tiny. It was only two of them. It was a little tiny terrarium. And
Yeah.
They grew into whole frogs.
I hate frogs. I hate frogs. I hate tadpoles.
You don't like insects.
I hate insects. I lived with them for 4 years. It was horrible.
You just don't like them. I went out running yesterday. I was thinking, you go, okay, how far can I
Scorpions.
actually run outside
Scorpions.
before the mosquitoes get me?
You like scorpions?
No.
I grew
But
up
I
in
know
my
there's some in
house.
your parents' house.
My bedroom was a house of scorpions. And I went in, I looked, I went, ah!
How do you live like that?
With a big chancleta.
I just like
Now-
don't, I just don't even get it.
You don't get what?
How you can live with scorpions and things like
Well, what are you
that.
going to do? You're going to move out because the scorpions moved in?
You got to get the exterminator.
I had
It's Puerto Rico. There's no exterminator.
I used to have pet spiders. And
Oh,
used
stop.
to-
I'm going to throw
I'll
up here.
leave it there.
You know how you don't like butterflies?
Yeah.
Me and spiders, we got the same
I had a
relationship.
spider living in my car for like 3 months, and it was really great because it was one of like the daddy longlegs, I think. Or, no, I don't know. It was a little gold one. It was just in the corner of my car, and I never had any.
Did you name her Charlotte?
I did. I never named my spiders for some reason.
What is-
Everything I think about is a book.
I always randomly find spiders in my car. I'm like, all right, cool.
You know the
Look
black
that
widow?
Look that up.
I never black widow.
You know the black widows? They call, in Spanish, they call araña pelúa. And they bite.
Yeah.
So I was in Puerto Rico, I was going to school, and I went like this to back up the driveway, and the freaking thing bit me right here. And I ran out screaming like a girl.
Slick,
mother
help
said-
me out here.
And my,
Spider-Man. You didn't think about that?
and my, they took me to my uncle, and he says, "Yeah."
Go
you
like
got
this. Do the
bit."
webs come out of your hand, arm when you do that? Whoop.
I couldn't find the spider in my car. It's not funny. I could not find her in the car.
Chuck once got bitten by one of those black recluses.
Ooh, he
Yeah.
lives.
Or was it brown recluse?
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lived?
Oh my god.
He's
that's
still alive.
bad.
He didn't get bit.
You should have seen it.
He didn't get bit. He got scratched. If you get bit by one of those bad boys, you ain't living.
It was brown. It was big. It was.
And you get the infection
He
on
had
the
to.
skin.
He had to go get that treated.
Treat it. You gotta cut a chunk out of you.
A chunk in a chunkleta.
And chunk litter. But you're not afraid of anything, right? You kill roaches and spiders.
I don't kill them. I catch them and I release them.
Which I think is even like scarier.
That's disgusting.
Why kill them?
A roach carries very high infections.
Spiders, sometimes they're hard to release, but the palmettos, I release them. I let them go.
You get the chancleta.
No.
Never those.
Palmettos
Yeah, none
disgusting.
of that scares
And
me.
in my house, they only come in like once in a while, like when they spray.
I'm like Snow White. Don't you know all the birds? And Giselle, all
that's
the
it.
birds, the animals, they come flock
And
to
what do
me.
you take, a big toilet paper roll and you grab it and you put it outside?
Sometimes I just take a cup, and then you slide a piece of paper ever so gently underneath
That's
it.
the most
and flip it
disgusting
over,
thing I have
and then
ever
you
seen.
release them.
I'm gonna tell you, if I was married to you, there'd be gunshots in the house.
He doesn't get up. He's like, oh, there's the palmetto. There's this.
Not me. I jump up and
They could be knocking at the door of the palmettos. I get it.
Linda was screaming one day because one fell out of the cabinet and landed on her. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I'm chasing them around the bathroom.
No, so I take the shoe, It comes to street justice. So I said, don't move. Whack-a-da, whack-a-da, whack-a-da.
The one
And
thing
she says, it's on the floor. Why are you hitting me?
it's the bees I don't like because they sting. If you miss a bee, you get hurt.
When we first bought the house in Beaucaire, there were nothing but beehives outside. So I had to buy the wasp killer. That goes about 6 to 8 feet. You ever seen that? Shoots out. Shh.
You need to get a beekeeper.
No, I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm from the Bronx.
Jeez.
Danger.
No, I was in danger. They chased me. They flew away. Then not one bee died.
Yeah.
Not one. Not
Got to
one.
get a beekeeper because sometimes the hives get so big and they attach themselves to the corners of
That
the
ain't
roofs.
happening.
Scary as
That
heck.
ain't that you take the spray and you take a lighter and you become Arnold Schwarzenegger with the fire.
Puerto Rican from the Bronx. Seriously,
In the
sometimes
Bronx,
I wonder.
one day, Gio screamed at me. There was a hornet's nest. You ever seen a hornet's nest? These things are huge. Inside one of the cabinets. And it took and attacked a bee. And it was stinging it to death. That's how Gio saw her screaming. So I had to go. Crazy Puerto Rican. I put this, you know what I'm afraid, I don't know if I want to tell you this. I took a woman's nylon, and
Over
put it
your
over
head?
my head.
Because I was going to really keep the stinger
Well,
from
I
getting
saw
him.
that they wore bee nests, right? They bought the bee thing, the hats with the. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, a beekeeper suit.
Yeah.
Not quite a nylon, but
So
yes.
I put a nylon over my face. and Michelle goes, "Who are you gonna go rob?"
You look like a burglar.
That's something. What bank robbing movie did you see that in?
And the funny thing is, when you put that on your face, it makes it really contortionist. It's ugly. I had an eye here and an eye up here. I said, I'm off to kill the wasp. And they chased me. I kept hitting them in the air. I would tell you, I was good. In the day I was the target practice, double candid. I had 2 in the pocket and 2 here, ready to rock and roll. I felt like Clint Eastwood.
You could, you could do like a bug spray commercial.
I'm gonna tell you.
This segment's brought to you by Spray Quick.
I had a run. It was horrible. Horrible. And then somebody has to go and knock that hive out, right? So I took a shovel and I told Michelle, we got to get an extension. It was like 4 feet. We need an 8-foot extension on the shovel because I'm going to tell you, if there's bad boys in there, they're coming out.
Again, call the beekeeper.
I jumped in the pool when they came after me.
I could imagine that.
And
Chuck
I'm
did
looking
that
up.
once, actually. I think he knocked something down. They came out and he jumped in the pool.
But I got to tell you, they're smart. They were hovering over the pool waiting for me. So I had to come out like this, splashing water, and the damn thing left. I gotta tell you, I've had real difficult times with bugs. Linda told you in Puerto Rico when I went to see my father, there was a roach. This is a strange looking.
She said one came up the toilet.
This is a strange looking palmetto. I don't know about that one, but this one was outside the bathroom, and there's a screen. So I took out my handy dandy spray, which wasn't very good. It was Puerto Rican brand, like almost kill yo.
You know, if there's a Puerto Rican watching, you only get away with it because you are Puerto Rican.
Well, I'm Puerto
Us, we'd say, they'd tell us we were doing something politically correct.
That's you know what? It is what it is. If you're a Puerto Rican, you never killed a bug this way, you're lying. So I spray it, and the damn thing gets mad.
Well.
So what does it do? It climbs sideways on the screen, goes inside. I swear on my children's life, comes inside where, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm running, and the freaking thing is chasing me. I'm like, Linda. and this freaking thing was attacking me.
Did she say just move out of the way?
She was pissing on the floor laughing. She was laughing so hard. She says, wasn't that on the outside? Yes. And it came in and around. It came around the damn freaking gate.
So many bugs in the forests of Puerto Rico.
Now, the worst thing is when you
God
in
knew
Puerto
not
Rico,
to bring me to Puerto Rico.
my
Yeah.
father has the bathroom way downstairs in the bottom of the house. And that's the bathroom. You must be careful.
That's when she said.
Snakes come out of the toilet.
That's what she said through the tank. Like when you're sitting on the toilet. She
So-
said things. Can you imagine?
In Hurricane Maria, we had no light. So you had to use your phone. Then those went out. So you had to use a candle. So it was 3 days later, after smelling like Grant took Richmond and died, we decided that maybe the gravity would bring water down to that bathroom to take a shower. And I said, my dad came up with that. And we turned it on and it worked. But this bathroom, if you close your eyes, is what it looks like. So I said to Linda, I said, be very careful with this toilet. When I lived here, snakes used to come out of that bad boy. So Linda goes in there one night, and she goes like 3 snakes. She went, all I hear is the. It's kind of funny because somebody now has to go down there because we all want to take showers. So we go down with the
Shovel.
shovel.
With the extension.
No, this one didn't
The
have.
nylon. And the bug spray.
No bugs, not for snakes. Snakes is
Locked
no.
and loaded.
Snakes is no bug spray. Snakes is machete.
Nylon and rubber boots. Oh, and a machete.
A hammer in your belt in case it gets you down on the ground. You get the fingers.
We should do the Puerto Rican emergency kit. And then there's the Jewish emergency kit. We've
a phone and your AAA.
we've got Ruggla bagels. AAA card. You've got the. That would be really funny. You've got the machete, the nylon, the bug spray.
Ice pick.
I got a credit card. Can you please come help me?
Boy, I was in the middle of nowhere. Who am I gonna call? I'm in the jungle. You know what they tell you when you call a bug man in the jungle?
I can't come
You live
out.
in the jungle. And of course you have bugs.
I love that survival kit. We should totally do that. The
There are
Puerto Rican
bats.
survival
You
kit.
love bats, right?
I do. I just adopted it.
Before Maria, there was hundreds of bats out in Juju used to go, because we used to live in different houses. He used to put a bag on his head. And I go, what are you doing? He says, I'm going home. I said, why are you wearing a bag?
Paperback?
Yeah, because
2 eyes cut out?
no, or just tie it around your head because the
Like a
bats
hat?
fly into the bats fly into your hair. You'll be like Party Central.
Slick, help me out here.
Okay with it.
You ever run into a bat? And I don't mean a 2-legged bat.
Me?
Yeah, that would be you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I ran into flocks of bats up in Mass. Like, they used to hang out on trees.
I ran into flocks of bats over on the East Tremont on the
I felt
corner.
like Batman when they, like, passed me.
I don't feel like no Batman. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell
Go
you,
into
bats.
Full brooding.
Like-
Just music video.
I thought somebody's, this person, like, he told me, like, I thought it was pigeons or birds at once. He's like, no, those are bats. I'm like, really? I felt like Batman.
You know, gangs use beating up people as initiation. You seen this? They sort of knock people out or they hit them. You know, it's so tough. Why don't you take them to a cave and says, okay, let me see you catch a bat. And then I initiate you. Then you're in. You're in the
There's a
gang.
lot of germs on bats.
That's right.
Bats.
There's a lot of germs on
Well, listen, the way things are right now, don't we have a COVID problem with bats? Is it a specific bat or any bat?
I don't think it's bats. I think it's the way that people are killing animals that aren't supposed to be eaten and are putting them in an area that's not sanitary and then telling people they can eat the not sanitary, not edible animals.
So they're eating bats?
That's supposedly what it was
I think we'll do some research. I'm going to check it out.
Eating, all I can tell you.
I dated bats. I felt COVID this back in the day. Just it didn't kill me.
It's all sanitation. It's nice that people are being cleaned up again. See Michelle Obama, her first episode of Mochi and something in Mochi is coming out today. She's the executive producer of a new kid show with puppets. It's coming out today. Michelle Obama. And the goal is that, people are still going hungry.
There's all sorts of problems. See what's happening with the border now?
Nope.
It's ridiculous.
Survival guide. What would be in your survival guide for people from Haiti?
Oh, for right now, if I would have had to go to Haiti, I would probably pack stealing SWAT team guns.
Why would you need to bring a gun? Let's start there.
I like how you
Because
can't
U.S.
bring
embargo,
guns, so I would
U.S.
bring one.
embargo stopped people that were coming from different countries to have guns, but people of the country have illegal guns.
Well, drug laws bring in guns and drugs.
Yeah, but for the U.S. embargo for travelers that are going to Haiti, they can't carry a gun.
There's an embargo in Haiti?
Yeah, there's been an embargo since I would think I'll say the emancipation, like the
An embargo means that you can't go to Haiti.
No, as in like you can't bring a gun to Haiti. An embargo that you can't.
Or there's a
buy.
gun embargo.
Well, I don't think you can bring a gun anywhere when you're traveling.
Oh, well,
Just hypothetically, I don't think you can take a gun on a plane anywhere.
Out of the U.S., you
You
can.
can on a plane, but you cannot, right?
You cannot out of the U.S. In the U.S., there's a lot of things that you have to go through to do it, but it is possible.
You can take a gun to Puerto Rico?
No,
Legally?
Like out of the
Continental
states.
states?
Yeah, continental states. I don't even know.
Puerto Rico is a territory of these things.
But it's
you
not.
can't fly it out.
Like I don't think you can take it to.
Well, it ain't gonna
Alaska.
swim there.
I don't think you can take it to Hawaii. I think it's just the continental states.
We can all
that you
get into
can
that.
physically
It's just,
drive
I know Haiti's in turmoil right now because there's a lot of.
Haiti's been in turmoil for 100 years.
Yeah, I don't think you get on a plane with a gun anywhere.
There's what is it?
You can't even get on the plane with your encoder. They have to check your fingers.
took it
Imagine,
apart.
imagine
That
going
was
with a
funny.
gun.
And I asked him to the second
I
time.
bet it wasn't funny at the time.
It was an experience.
The last time I went to Haiti, like my brother tried to bring his firearm, and then they stopped him. Like he clipped, like he basically put in like the packaging. He separated all the parts. He didn't have any bullets in it.
Did he tell them that it was in there?
Yeah, correct. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring it in." Like I'm
They
bringing
said
it in.
no.
They said no.
Of course not.
You think you're adaptable when you go on vacation?
Hold on a second. Your brother can't bring a gun into the country. That's illegal.
He wanted to bring his gun.
But that's illegal.
He got a vaccine too, and he wasn't supposed to. So
Same brother?
this is another brother.
Don't you have to get a license to get a gun?
Yeah, he got like
So I go to Puerto Rico and I want to bring a
You
gun?
don't have to get a license to buy a gun.
Really?
not to buy a gun, but to actually wield. and
Hold on.
Okay.
So hold on. So explain this to me.
So in Florida, I only know Florida laws. In Florida, you do not need a license to buy a gun. However, you have to be over the age of 18, and to buy one, you would buy it, and then you have to wait 3 days because they do a full background check on you. But if you pass the background check, you're over 18, then you can buy a gun.
So do you have to register the gun?
Yes.
So that must be done.
Yes. you
That's
have
what the
to
paper they
buy it
show
from
you.
The gun shop. Yeah, that's the 3-day background check. When you buy, you register. I don't think the government knows what you own, but they know how many firearms you own. Even if you buy it from like a person instead of a store, that you still register it, so in case something happens.
So if I have a Glock, it's not illegal?
Correct, but you can't carry it unless you have a license.
So you need a license to carry the Glock. So I have to leave the Glock carry itself.
You either have to have it in your house, and it's supposed to be in a gun safe. You have to. I just took classes on this. You can travel with it, but it has to be in a locked safe in your trunk.
That's
out of
useless.
arm's reach. But I mean, if you're like traveling with it, so if you're moving or if you're maybe going on a vacation, if you don't have your license, you're allowed to take it into your hotel room, and it has to be in your safe because it's transportation. But you cannot carry it on your person unless you have a license.
So the bottom line here, can you use a gun if somebody threatens your life
If you,
and it's not registered?
if
Self-defense?
the gun's not registered and you do not have a license, you will get charged most likely with unlawful like ownership of a firearm.
So you got to just register it.
Yeah, it has to be registered, and for you to carry it, you have to have a license.
And so
For
when
you
you
to go to the gun range with your gun, that's fine.
so when you go to these places that they sell guns, you ever seen some of these? It looks like a giant barrage. It looks like the military is there. They have bazookas and tanks and stuff. So when you buy a gun from a gun dealer, do they register the gun while you're there?
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
So it's okay to buy a gun. Now, you can't buy ammo at the gun places, right? So you can load a gun at the gun
No,
place?
you can't load it. You can buy if you're at a gun range. Obviously, you can buy your gun, you can buy your ammo, and you can go to the gun range. You can buy ammo from a gun shop, but you're not supposed to load it.
So if I go to my car and load it and then go in there and become a
I
maniac,
think you should use fake ammo at a gun range.
what good is that?
Well, you can bring your own ammo to a gun range.
It's
The
just
point of it is,
dangerous.
If you have a gun, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. So you shouldn't be able to get a gun if you haven't gone through a psychiatric check.
But the problem here is that the bad guys have guns.
Bad guys are gonna get guns no matter
But they don't need a psychiatric check. They're just
'Cause
psychos.
They're going to get places they shouldn't get it anyway.
Yeah.
Correct.
No matter what laws we put in place to get them, the bad guys are always going to have them. It's just we can lessen it slightly.
Wow. It's really strange. And the Glock has no safety on it, right? That's the
Some do,
difference.
some don't.
Oh,
of
some
them have
do?
double safeties, yeah.
And they have that safety with the finger that matches your finger.
I don't know.
You've seen this thing? It's a chip in there, and it won't go off if you take the gun.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like fingerprint recognition.
Yeah, it's a fingerprint recognition on the gun. But the problem with that thing is that I think you have to charge the chip. and you're going to need it at the worst time. And my chip is not charged.
I know most of them, the 43X, it just has one on the back where you put your hand. It's like a thing, so unless your hand is in the back where it needs to be, it won't go off. So
Oh, that's
it's
interesting.
Like a double safety where you have to have your hand in the right place and push the button.
You ever shot a gun?
Safeties.
No,
Never?
no.
Oh, we should go to
Show
the
it at
gun range. We should. You have a license, right? You got to go with somebody that has a license.
I didn't, no, you don't.
To rent a gun, don't you need somebody with a license?
You need a driver's license.
Can you imagine me at a gun range?
If you're over 18, you can go to a gun range, rent a gun, go shoot them. They'll give you a lesson on how to do it. You don't need any license.
Oh, we should do that.
You don't even need
Let's go on a road
background
trip.
check or anything. It's not mine.
Let's go on a road trip.
Remember, I had 2 gun ranges. Let's go.
Is he
Wow.
going to?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to handcuff myself to
We've
this
got
thing.
axe throwing. We'll go to a gun range. We got to go to a clothing store. We got lots of places to visit.
You like guns?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what's really hard to travel with is an axe. We used to have people I never did.
Oh, really?
The people at the bar that I worked at, if you traveled for competitions, because you know guns, there's like a way that you travel. You, like some said, you have to take it apart. You have to register that you have it. There's a certain security they go through. Axes, that's not like. You just have to say like,
It's an act.
hey, I'm traveling.
Traveling with an axe.
It's uncomfortable to put your axe in your shoe.
And there's a tag you're supposed to put on it, but they will always like absolutely strip search you and freak you out.
You know, when you were born, your mom's like, "Oh, I've got a daughter. She's gonna be all pink and fluffy and bows." And there's an axe, and there's a gun.
My family.
There's a Roddy.
My family, my dad was like, "This is the 4th daughter. This is the last chance I have."
The 4th of July, we used to always go camping, and we had hundreds of axes. I never even thought about it. We used to chop trees down. and-
Really?
Yeah.
I never
and
used an axe
machetes.
until the game of axes.
And machetes in the day. That was it. I can't believe that.
We still do when you go through the forest.
Yeah.
Use machetes.
And
You
the
use
axes-
machetes when you go through the forest?
When you go like hiking, if you go on certain hikes, some places there aren't paths, so you can use the machete. Just it gets the leaves away, so they're not like eaten.
Well, you also gotta
Wow.
clean out things, but
Yeah.
it's funny because I can only imagine going in the forest.
Yeah, I know.
Where is the air conditioned room?
Pretty much. You take me out of my element, I'm
you
still
wouldn't
me.
do like a boot camp tent deal?
No.
You never had pancakes over a fire?
We once went camping at Spanish River Park.
Wow.
This is the Girl Scouts.
Wow, you heard this?
Kind of like our tent was there and the bathroom was over there. And the lights went out and I'm like, I can't.
First of all, I never stayed next to the bathrooms. The smell and
Well,
those
no, I
bad
wasn't
boys-
near it. It was close enough that I could walk to a bathroom, but
You
no.
didn't have to dig a hole?
Exactly. Spanish River Park. You know, if you go over the bridge, we're at the beach.
We
Right
learned
here
the
in
hard
Boca.
way. We learned the hard
Camping
way
in Boca.
when you go camping and they gave us a campsite and it was downhill. It was like this. And we didn't know any different. I mean, we were a bunch of Ricans from the Bronx and we took this hill down thing and they told us you got to put your tent so that if it rains, the water rolls down. You want to put your entrance at the bottom of the hill. Well, if you don't do that, you know what happens when it rains? The water gets in your tent.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we had Niagara Falls coming into the tent. Michelle was so mad. So I cut a wedge on the bottom of the tent.
Let the water out.
Said let the water go underneath. Not too much. Just became a giant cesspool of mud. Then it became, what was the name of that, where people went in the 60s, the hippie place?
Woodstock.
Woodstock. It became a giant Woodstock. And we were full of mud and flinging mud. The raccoons were eating all the food.
There's going to be another one, another Woodstock when all of this COVID ends. There's going to be music festivals. People are going to get out and do things.
And everybody's going to have a relapse.
April or May, there's one in Florida.
I saw that. It's Orlando or something?
Yep.
Woodstock?
A music festival. More to come. We are heading over to meet with the Mind of the Mail today.
No, Mr. Guy.
Yes, for the Mind of the Mail.
Is Amy here or over there?
I guess she's there.
And coming back with us?
Yep.
Interesting.
All right, you got Slick Speaks coming up. Who are you speaking to? I guess Teddy.
Thanks, Val.
Why don't you do a call-in show? This is Slick Speaks. I don't have a guest today because they did the 86 on me, but I would like to speak to you. Call me. What's the number? 994.
994-4995.
Depending on the studio where you're going to be in.
All right, so you're going to set up Slick Speaks. You've got Teddy Unscripted.
Yes.
Michael Maki is coming in.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'll have to confirm with them.
So it's you and Slick today.
Are you going to have
Running
two
crew?
cameras? In here? Are you doing it in here or out there?
Let's see if he comes in first. If not, it's gonna be Slick and I talking.
Well, I think he's coming in because Bitcoin's doing very well. It was doing better yesterday. It came down.
We got to find out about Litecoin next. So
Yes.
maybe he'll stay and join us for the 12 o'clock also.
I wanted to touch real quick on what happened yesterday with the National High School Girls Basketball Champions. Did you see this in Oklahoma?
No.
It's horrible. The announcer was announcing the game on radio or TV or whatever, and the girls that ended up winning, they were undefeated, and they all took a knee for Black Lives Matter at the national anthem, and the guy went Bizanko, used the N-words and the
Why?
F-bombs because he didn't agree that they were taking a knee. But he decides to go on the air. And, this is a black eye to our industry because this guy was a third-party hiree. It's like if somebody hires Slick to announce a game. And he went in there, he forget about it. So the coaches and the parents after the game, the parents show what this guy did. And they wanted an apology. So you know what he comes up with, which is the nature of the story, the reason for the story? He's a diabetic. He's a type 1 diabetic, and he would not have acted that way if his sugar did not spike. Really? Diabetes now makes you racist?
Snickers. I wouldn't have been racist.
Have you seen the Snickers commercial where they change what they look like, right?
But is this guy insane? If I wasn't a diabetic, I wouldn't have been racist. And his sugar spiked, he said. Are you kidding me?
If I wasn't a racist, I wouldn't be racist. What?
It's amazing how people are. When we leave this bubble of where we are, and this is truly a bubble, you realize what some of the world is really like, and you think, wow, how can people really be that way? It's mind-boggling.
And the funny thing is that a lot of people seem to think that this crazy way of thinking is normal,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, for them it is. I told you I had a conversation with someone last week, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really a real thing for them. In their mind, this is rational.
But it isn't rational to put poison in your veins, right? So a former president says, jokingly to somebody, can we use that cleaner to wipe out germs in the body? But he meant it kiddingly. I get it. So people were dropping dead because they were injecting the poison in their veins.
Again,
But
do
how
not
do you...
try this at home, kids.
But I don't understand. Why do you think that something illogical is logical?
Because to them, it's logical.
But how can you tell me
'Cause
that's logical?
People have different mental
Because
statuses.
people don't want to believe that they're at fault for anything.
That's a whole accountability. That's a whole nother thing.
So if I put your hand this way and hit it with a hammer just to see a reaction, there's going to be pain.
Yes.
Does that make it legitimate because I'm curious to see what your reaction is? Is that what this is about?
No, some truly people believe. Look at politics. There are people that truly believe in both sides. It's not just for argument's sake. They are firm conviction on one side or another. And if you don't have that same vision, they believe theirs and you believe yours. We had a meeting.
Okay. Did you see? That's okay. Did you see what happened with the Republican Party yesterday? The announcement they made. And this, again, if you understand rational thinking, please call me because I think they've lost their mind. This is the entire Republican side of the equation. Now, I am a registered Republican. So it's not that I'm throwing them under the bus. They are doing a commercial on television and radio and everywhere around the world to show how the stimulus package that was just approved, the money sent out, is a bad thing for America. Because, and I heard this, I can't hire people because everybody's sitting home waiting for $1,400
Well,
and
we
$300
talked
a month.
about that yesterday. Just look at our interns alone. Look at what happened with that one intern, that phone call we had to make yesterday.
I understand that.
But this is
But
the
hold
mindset.
hold on. That's the end result. I get it. This is the end result. But for responsible congressmen in the Republican Party to come out with such a bold, stupid statement is irresponsible. Irresponsible because of the backlash
Well,
that's going
there's
to come out.
responsibility and what you say to the public and what the situation is. There are people that are making more money sitting home collecting
I
than they
understand.
would even working at a fast food place at less
I understand
less
that.
money.
I understand that. And there are people at home that are robbing banks, making more money than anybody. There are people at home that are doing the wrong. I get that.
Yeah.
But this is like taking cans of gasoline into a movie theater, laying it all out, and knowing that if I light this match, I can turn this thing into an inferno. So think about the illogical thinking. First of all, do I light the match? That's not the thinking. That I put the gas in the place to begin with is the illogical thinking. That's what I'm talking
And that's
about.
because you think they're illogical. They think they're logical.
But to even announce that is illogical with the backlash, with the sensitivity of what's going on in this country. They just lay gasoline in the theater. And forget about what they do now.
yeah, but they think it's logical. There's
Papa,
different.
you know.
Listen, I'm not saying I agree whatsoever, but people. I told you this conversation I had last week with some
But
people.
these are supposed to be.
People think crazier things, and I
Yes.
don't agree with them. But there are people who think even crazier things are happening this week than a commercial
Yes,
coming out.
I heard that.
So
It was supposed to happen Monday.
and guess
That's
what?
completely
What a
nuts.
shock, it didn't. But do you publish or do you punish the many for the actions of the few? Do you know?
Well, let me ask you a question. If one of these peoples is your children's teacher, who your kid sees every day, wouldn't you be a little concerned?
Oh, I'd be furious. I'd be furious if a teacher was trying to teach my kid either way. That's not your job.
Well, what about if one of these peoples was the leader of your country? Wouldn't you be
Yeah.
concerned?
There's a whole watch the South Park vaccination special,
Oh my
vaccine
God.
special, because that's literally what it was all about.
Really?
Was in it QAnon, because it's South Park to make fun of everything. QAnon decided that in the town they were going to become tutors and teachers, and they were going to teach their youth and everyone who was at the Capitol. They had caricatures, and they came and taught the kids, and all the parents were just like, wait a minute, it's not good.
Something here doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
The problem here is that if you speak up against people doing the illogical, you sort of look around, like you just did the QAnon thing, right? And I noticed that you look around because you got to be careful what you even say, even though you're right for saying it. My whole logical thinking
But
here.
are you wrong? Not you, but are people wrong for having their own thoughts?
That's not the point. Irresponsible thought will give you irresponsible endings.
So you can have the thought, but you shouldn't have irresponsible actions.
Your feelings are always valid, but your actions are not.
Okay.
And even sometimes your feelings aren't valid. Let me tell you why. I grew up watching my father beat my mother. So I grew up beating my wife because I saw him do
Okay,
it.
he didn't. This is just a hypothetical. This is
No,
not
I'm just
true.
a hypothetical. Yes, I'm using this as a very bad
We
example.
gotta clarify this.
Yeah, but I gotta come out with something strong because if I tell you I watched my father beat up my guinea pigs, so I beat up guinea pigs, and then there's psychiatrists, because I laid this on them one time, says, well, that's irrational thinking. It's irrational thinking for me to think that way.
But if someone thinks that what's irrational to us, if that's their rational, when they go irrational, it's psychotic to us, and that's why people get worried to speak up against it, and that's I think why it got so big, because I mean I don't want it.
There are
I don't
people
wanna
that
get killed.
there are people that make a living on pointing out irrational thinking. There are people that now make a living at Bitcoin when at one time Bitcoin was considered irrational thinking, right? The funny thing about what's going on around us is the end result is one thing, but why did it even start is another. There's where the end results begin. Anyway, thank you for watching.
This conversation can go on and on, but it's an interesting topic. It could be good for Slick Speaks.
If I'm here, I'm going to talk to you about it. Because I want to know where your mind lays.
You can do a call-in. All right, have a great morning, everyone. Tune in to Slick Speaks at 10:30, Teddy Unscripted at 11.
And call in
Learn
and
about
ask
some
him
Bitcoin.
questions.
Let's
Ask him
have
questions.
interactive conversation.
That's right. Michael's bazooka's coming in. What's his
Michael
name?
Macchia.
Michael Bazooka, I call him.
Yeah, that's your client.
No, Michael Bazooka. I
Have a
call
great
him.
morning, everyone. Stay safe. Do not be irrational. Be rational. We'll see you in a little bit.
Keep that smile on. Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Brooklyn Cafe After Hours, where all truth is mentioned on Brew Radio.
Join us next time as we get to highlight our community, share some ideas, and always a little bit of hope on WWNN Real Talk Radio.
And as always, don't be late.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.